What if everything you thought about money was wrong? Imagine this. You're sitting at your kitchen table, looking at your bank account showing $25,000, and you think, this is nice. But what if I told you that, in reality, you're not 75% away from $100,000? What if I told you that you're actually at the halfway point? The math behind this can completely change how you think about building wealth. Hi, I'm Mike. I teach people about money, personal finance, and investing. If you want to take control of your money, subscribe now and hit like if this video helps you. Before you get angry, hear me out. This will change how you see money forever. Now, before you start typing angry comments about how 25 plus 75 equals 100, let me explain something that will change how you see money. Most people think building wealth is simple. Save $1, you're $1 closer to your goal. Save $10,000, you're $10,000 closer. Simple addition, right? Wrong, very wrong. This straight line thinking is why many people give up on their financial goals before they see the real magic. Here's what really happens when you understand exponential growth. Money doesn't just sit there doing nothing when you invest it correctly. It starts working for you, earning returns, and then those returns earn more returns. This is called exponential growth, and it's why reaching $25,000 is bigger than most people think. Let's break down exactly how your money starts making money for you. Let me explain with some numbers. Imagine you invest $500 every month. That's about $125 per week. It's not a small amount, but most working adults can manage it. It's about what you might spend on eating out or subscriptions each month. Now assume your investments earn 8% per year on average, which is reasonable compared to historical stock market returns. Here's where it gets interesting. It takes about 3 years and 4 months of steady contributions to reach your first $25,000. During this time, most of that money comes from what you put in yourself. You do the hard work while compound interest is just starting. Here's where the real magic begins. This is why most people give up too soon. Now here's the fascinating part. To go from $25,000 to $50,000, it only takes 2 years and 8 months. Let me say that again. The speed keeps increasing. Going from $50,000 to $75,000 takes 2 years and 2 months. And from $75,000 to $100,000, it only takes 1 year and 10 months. Think about that. The first quarter of your journey takes over 3 years, but the last quarter takes less than 2 years. This is why reaching $25,000 is so important. You've shown yourself you can save and invest consistently, and you've built the foundation that makes everything else faster. The compound interest engine is starting to work, and your money is beginning to work harder for you. Let's look under the hood of your investment account to see how this actually works. Let's see what's happening in your investment account. When you first hit $25,000, about $20,000 came from your own contributions, and about $5,000 came from investment growth. Not life-changing yet, but you've built the habit and discipline needed for the next steps. By $50,000, the numbers change. Of that $50,000, around $34,000 came from you, and $16,000 from investment growth. Your money made $16,000 while you lived your life, worked your job, and didn't even think about your account most days. At $75,000, you've put in about $46,000 yourself, and investment returns have made nearly $29,000. Your money is starting to work almost as hard as you. At $100,000, you've put in about $56,000, and compound interest has earned $44,000. Almost half of your wealth comes from investment growth, not your own money. This is why the first $25K is not just money. It's a game changer for your mind. Here's why this is powerful for your mind. Feeling like your money isn't growing fast enough? Wait until you hear this. During the first 3 years, when you're working to reach $25,000, it can feel like progress is slow. Monthly returns might only give a few $100s a year. That's nice, but not life-changing. You might wonder if investing is worth it, especially when you want that fancy dinner or vacation. But here's the turning point that most people never reach. But after you pass $25,000, something amazing happens. Your returns can grow by thousands each year. In a good year, you might see $5,000 or $8,000 in gains. Suddenly, the idea of money working for you becomes real. This is when people start to truly understand why patience and consistency are so important. This is the moment when your financial journey shifts into high gear. The person who reaches $25,000 and keeps investing isn't just building wealth, they're building momentum. Each extra dollar has more time to grow, and each month's returns add more growth. The irony is most people quit just before this acceleration. They see their balance at $15,000 or $20,000 after a few years and think building wealth takes too long. They leave right before the real progress begins. Here's a psychological twist most new investors don't realize. There's another mental factor here. With $25,000 invested, you develop what I call skin in the game. The key is to understand that these swings are normal and actually help you. When the market goes down, your monthly contributions buy more shares. When it recovers, which it usually does, those extra shares become very valuable. So reaching $25,000 is not just about money, it's about mental growth too. So the journey from $0 to $25,000 is more than just a number. You're not just saving money, you're learning emotional control, patience, and long-term thinking. These qualities separate successful investors from those who give up. In practice, this means you are not just watching numbers. You're retraining your brain to think like rich people. Rich people don't think linearly. They think about exponential possibilities. And this mindset can change how you approach everything in life. This mindset change gets even stronger when you see the same patterns in life. Learning any skill feels very slow at first. You're bad at guitar, your Spanish sounds terrible, and your cooking is a disaster. But after 2-3 years, everything clicks. You play songs, speak Spanish, and cook meals people enjoy. Wealth building is the same, but most people quit during the gargling marbles phase. They don't stay long enough to see compound interest start doing the heavy work. Here's why $25,000 is more powerful than the numbers suggest. Now let's look at why reaching $25,000 is even more important than the math says. Once you have $25,000 invested, your money decisions start to change. And this speeds up your wealth building in ways numbers don't a t-show. For example, you notice lifestyle inflation. That $1,000 raise? Instead of buying a bigger apartment or car, you think about investing it. You know 500 a month worked before, so $700, $800 excites you. You also develop compound interest paranoia. Every purchase makes you think, what if I invested this instead? That $4 coffee seems less worth it when it could be $40 in 10 years. This isn't about being miserly, it's about being intentional. You learn what purchases truly matter and what's just temporary satisfaction. You find more money to invest without feeling deprived. And here's the financial advice you rarely hear from professionals. Here's something most financial advisors don't mention. Once you have a good amount invested, you take smarter career and income risks. That side business you postponed looks doable because you have a financial cushion. Job changes for better opportunities are easier because you're not desperate for money. I've seen this many times. People with $25,000, $30,000 invested get a confidence multiplier. They negotiate better raises, go for higher paying jobs, or start businesses they wouldn't have tried when living paycheck to paycheck. Extra income goes into investments, creating a fast upward spiral. There's also a network effect. People with money connect with others who have money, not out of snobbery, but because they share values like patience and long-term thinking. These connections often lead to better opportunities, advice, and business partnerships. Now, here's what happens psychologically when you hit $100,000. Here's a surprise about reaching $100,000. Most people think six figures feels like a huge victory. But actually, when you reach $100,000, you're used to seeing your money grow, so it feels normal. You're not the person you were 5 to 6 years ago. You've learned patience, discipline, and long-term thinking. $100,000 doesn't feel like the finish line. It feels like the start. You start thinking about $200,000, $500,000, or even $1 million. This is why the journey from $0 to $25,000 changes you more than going from $25,000 to $50,000. The first quarter of building wealth changes you, and the next quarters just grow those changes. But what if the market crashes? Don't panic. Here's why it might actually help you. But here's the worry some might have. What if the market crashes while you're gaining momentum? What if a financial crisis or recession ruins your plans? These concerns are real. And that's why dollar-cost averaging is important. If you invest the same amount every month, market drops actually help you. When others panic and sell, your $500 buys more shares. When markets recover, those extra shares become very valuable. History shows investors who kept investing through crashes like 2008 or 2020 ended up much wealthier than those who stopped. People who reached $25,000 and panicked missed huge opportunities. This is another reason $25,000 is such a key milestone. What if I told you that $25,000 could teach you more than just numbers? By the time you reach it, you've likely seen one or two small market drops. You've watched your balance fall by a few thousand and then recover. This teaches you emotional strength for bigger downturns. People who never see losses are more likely to panic during a crash. People with $25,000 who've seen ups and downs understand volatility is normal. They're more likely to keep investing or even invest more when others run. Here's what financial advisors rarely tell you. Now, here is something most financial advisors want to tell you because it does not help them sell expensive services. The real secret to speeding past $25,000 isn't just putting in more money. It's about understanding hidden multipliers most people ignore. Multiplier number 1 will change how you see your investment accounts forever. First, there's what I call the tax efficiency multiplier. Most people put their money in regular taxable investment accounts and then wonder why their wealth isn't growing fast. Smart investors use tax-advantaged accounts like 401ks and IRAs to make their returns grow much faster. When you don't pay taxes on your investment gains every year, more of your money stays invested and keeps growing. It's like getting a 20-30% boost in returns without taking extra risk. Here's the part that makes most people go, wow. That $500 you invest each month, if it's in a taxable account and you're in a 22% tax bracket, you're basically giving the government $110 every year just for investing. But if you put it in a tax-deferred account, that $110 stays invested and grows with the rest of your money. Over your investing journey, this difference can add up to tens of thousands of dollars. Someone who reaches $25,000 in a tax-advantaged account is actually much closer to $100,000 than someone with $25,000 in a regular account. It's like playing the same game, but one person is using cheat codes. Multiplier number 2 is literally free money. Don't ignore it. Then there's the employer match multiplier, which amazes me how many people ignore. If your employer matches your retirement contributions, even partially, and you don't use it fully, you're literally leaving free money on the table. This isn't marketing. It's your company saying, for every dollar you invest, we'll give you 50 cents or even a full dollar for free. For example, if your employer matches 50% of your contributions up to 6% of your salary, and you earn $50,000 per year and invest $3,000, that $1,500 is free money. You didn't work, save, or sacrifice to get it. It just appears in your account. With employer matching, the journey from $0 to $25,000 gets much faster. Instead of taking 3 years and 4 months, it might only take 2.5 years. The effect is even stronger because you get guaranteed returns before the market even acts. Here's a shocking statistic about employer matches. Here's something funny, or sad, depending on how you see it. About 40% of employees don't invest enough to get their full employer match. They walk away from thousands of dollars every year because they think they can afford to invest more. It is like finding a $20 bill on the sidewalk and leaving it because you don't want to bend down. Now let's tackle the biggest mistake people make with money. Now let's talk about something that separates people who build real wealth from those who stay in the middle class forever. It's understanding the difference between saving and investing, and why most people do it the wrong way. Saving is what you do with money you plan to spend in the next few years, like your emergency fund, vacation money, or a down payment for a house. This money should be safe, boring, and easy to access. Think of high-yield savings accounts, CDs, or short-term government bonds. You're not trying to grow wealth with this money. You're just keeping it safe. Investing is what you do with money you want to need for at least 5 to 10 years. This money should be working hard for you, taking reasonable risks in exchange for higher returns. Think stock market index funds, real estate, or even individual stocks if you know what you're doing. This is your wealth-building money, and it needs time to grow and compound. Here's why most people never become wealthy. The problem is that most people treat their entire financial life like a savings account. They keep $50,000 in checking accounts earning almost nothing because they scared of market ups and downs. Meanwhile, inflation quietly reduces the value of their money each year. They think they're being careful and responsible, but they're actually making it impossible to build real wealth. On the other hand, some people treat their emergency fund like an investment account. They put money they might need next month into risky growth investments and then panic when they have to sell at a loss during a market drop. They are taking unnecessary risks with money that should be safe. Here's the key takeaway you can use today. So here's the takeaway. When you reach $25,000, start investing today, because 20 years from now, you'll either be thanking yourself or wondering what could have been. Want to take control of your money and actually build wealth? If you want to take control of your money and build real wealth, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.